Hi there, my name is Nina Goradia, and today I want to talk about loneliness and how it might not be what it looks like it is on the surface. It may look like I'm not, with my friends, with my family, I don't have the close relationships that I'm looking for. But what loneliness really means is that we are lonely from ourselves. We're disconnected from ourselves because loneliness is not the same as solitude. So solitude is when we're alone, but there's no emotional charge to it. We can be quite content and happy to have that time with ourselves. But if we're disconnected from who we are and what we're feeling, it's going to feel lonely. We're not attending to the emotions, the thoughts, the feelings within ourselves. Now, this is not the ultimate place to be attending to. The ultimate would be abiding in the true self. I'm adding a little bit of a spiritual slant here. As we're abiding in the awareness of who we are, so we can think of it as the witness, the one who is present, the one who's watching, the one who is aware, the soul, the essence. There are many ways that you can think of this, but as you're able to witness the one who is watching your thoughts, the one who is watching and aware of your feelings, the one who's aware and watching your body, if I'm able to look at these things, I can't be these things because who's the one watching? So as I'm able to abide in the presence of my true self, I'm not going to feel lonely because the nature of the true self is self-fulfilling. We are completely whole. And it's just the beliefs in thoughts that are not true. So these illusions, these delusions, it's the emotions that are stuck and have not been expressed. So they cover up our awareness of this self-fulfilled true self that is underneath it, that is made of complete love and peace, harmony, contentment, fulfillment. It's what we're all made of. But this awareness of it can be blocked with these additional layers of thoughts that are limiting and untrue, and feelings that are blocked and stuck because of our resistance. And so as we access this true nature underneath, loneliness disappears. And then you may want to connect with people just because it's joyful and it's fun to connect, but not because, you desperately need that connection. It's kind of like if I'm not feeding myself food, and if someone invites me to dinner, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you. And then if they cancel, it's going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so painful because I'm not feeding myself. I don't know how to feed myself. And so I'm going to be so dependent on something from the outside. And it's the same thing with company. Giving ourselves that company, learning how to do that internally can change everything. And so having a constant attention on other people or our phones or the news or anything, having the attention externally is going to disconnect ourselves from our true selves. There's a way that you can, you've cultivated it so deeply, not cultivated it, that you've cultivated your awareness of it. You can't cultivate it because you're made of it. It never goes away, whether you're aware of it or not. But as we cultivate our awareness of it, you can engage in all these things, your phone and, focusing on others, and you can engage in those things without losing yourself. But especially in the initial stages, you want to deepen that and just notice, okay, I was on my phone for an hour and now I'm kind of in this, disconnected zone. I need to ground. I need to bring this attention back to myself. And the more we can do that every day, whether it's through meditation or just through consciously bringing that attention back several times throughout the day, that's going to help us, build that connection with ourselves. And quite frankly, rediscover that connection with ourselves. Most of us, of course, there's some disconnection that's come from being in a society that's very technological, very fast-paced, requiring a lot of intellectual, mental activity, and a lot of outward focus. Now, many societies historically have not been like this. They've allowed plenty of time for a slower pace, for being versus doing, for really valuing time to oneself, meditation, monastic practices, being respected within villages, this sort of thing. And so just notice that we have to make that additional time in order to do that for ourselves. So try this and let me know if you feel less lonely. I'm very curious how that goes for you. I want to share something to close, that when I went for my very first 10 days of silent meditation vipassana, I wondered if I was going to be lonely, because you can't look at anyone, you can't even make eye contact, you can't acknowledge them, you can't talk to anybody. And what I noticed after those 10 days, I had never felt so not lonely in my whole life, because all that attention came back to myself. And normally I'm somebody who's always put a lot of attention on acknowledging other people and trying to meet them where they need to be met. Having all that time to just be with myself and to give myself that attention to replenish and to recharge, it was so incredible. I felt zero loneliness. And so I'm curious, again, if any of you have felt this way, I'd love to hear about it. Okay, take care, and I'll see you next time.